Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of our 2 lessons on Age of Exploration. So without further ado, here we go. All right, so we are going to talk about some of the native peoples of North America because this is a U.S. history course. Now, I want to draw your attention down here to the special disclaimer. The information about American Indians in this PowerPoint is not comprehensive. You will receive more information about these tribes in class, and of course, you can look up information on your own. I do not pretend to be an expert in Native American history. There are people far wiser than I on this topic, and I strongly suggest that if this topic is of interest to you, you go and consult those folks. But I'm just going to give you the big picture, bare bones, basic info. So here we go. All right, general facts. Lived in culture groups, Native Americans generally, or American Indians. Culture groups are folks that shared the same way of life, and they lived in the same region. So same way of life would be religious beliefs, social mores, like customs, traditions, same kinds of food, same kinds of religious festivals, that sort of thing. There were 6 different regions in the United States. We're going to talk about each one. All right, so here you see a lovely little map of the United States, and you look up here, woo, yay, map. So we have northeast woodlands, southeast woodlands, the plains, the northwest coast, California Intermountain, and the southwest. And then you see, ooh, look, Florida. Those of us in Florida, what's up, Everglades? All right, not funny. Okay, so regions had a variety of natural resources, and depending on which natural resources were there, this largely influenced the development of those culture groups. Okay, so if you lived in the northeast woodlands, you had a lot of access to timber, so you'd have log homes, whereas in the plains, no, you really don't have access to that sort of thing. You had access to animal skins, so you'd have teepees. All right, so just as an example of how and why different native cultures developed how they did. And here is an example of what I was just saying. See, here's a lot of buffalo, and over here you've got some fishing, and there's a lot of hunter-gathering and berries and stuff over here, and then you've got woods, and you've got some fish and stuff too. So you can just use that map and kind of get a sense of what sorts of resources were available in those regions. All right, general facts about the homes. So some tribes created permanent settlements in cities, but others were nomadic. Okay, nomadic means that you just kind of hopped around from place to place. You didn't stay in one spot. You would stay in one spot for a little bit, and then you move on to the next spot. So you were always moving around. So these are examples. Those pictures are examples of permanent settlements in cities and also nomadic tribes. Different materials and methods were used to construct homes, as I just said, depended on the natural resources that were available to them. In deserts, you had clay and stone. I almost said deserts. Did you catch that? So, and there's an example of that. In the plains, you had buffalo skins. All right. And in the forest, you had wood. So those materials were used to construct homes in these various regions of North America. All right, so northeast and southeast woodlands had very similar natural resources. They farmed, hunted, and fished for food. They had forests, lakes, rivers, oceans, nice climate. So this was good for farming and also for just living. It made life much easier. So examples of some tribes were the Iroquois, the Cherokee, and the Mound Builders. Now, in the plains, they hunted buffalo and gathered for food. They used every part of the animal. It was like a religious experience to go and take out the buffalo. It was a revered animal, and so it was essential that you not waste anything. Otherwise, you might anger the gods. So, typical tribes, Dakota, Cheyenne, the Sioux, and the Comanche. The Southwest, they farmed on top of mesas, which were those are flat, arable lands on top of a small mountain or a large hill. We don't know anything about that in Florida. We don't have any hills. Lots of clay. Many Native Americans in this region were clay artisans. Types of tribes were the Anasazi and the Hopi. In the California Intermountain, they gathered a lot of various plants and roots for food. They used the tall grass that was there for basket weaving. Some examples of tribes were the Pomos, the Caddo, and the Winton. The northwest coast, close to oceans, fished for food, hunted in nearby forests, and they created totem poles out of wood to teach the family history. So when you see, oh, the totem poles, this is these guys right here. And you can see examples of those tribes down there. If you have any questions on any of these tribes, feel free to ask me, research on your own. There's a lot of information about these folks, and as I said, this was not comprehensive. This was like a fly-by-night kind of introduction into Native culture. We'll get into more detail in class. So I hope you learned what you needed to, and I will see you in the next video.